Hello, I am Jenni Ho-Huan and I'm so delighted that you are here. I love journeying with people to a place of safety, security and satisfaction. We are going to be talking about self-care for parents at this time. To get the most out of this session, I want to encourage you to have a little notebook, something to record your thoughts to, because as I share, I will be asking you some questions. We will be taking some pauses, and those questions and your own thoughts as you listen to me will be very useful to you later as you work through what you have heard. We have all seen this, right? When our battery runs really low, what do? We immediately search for a place to plug the phone in, that poor thing, before it dies. Or many of us nowadays carry a wire or a battery pack to make sure that the phone doesn't completely deplete. We want it to last. Self-care is ensuring that our batteries don't get flat. And it can happen in two ways. The first is to read the signals from our bodies, our emotions, and our thoughts that tell us that our battery is running low. The second is to find a way to keep our phone, as it were, plugged in so that there is a constant supply of power and the battery doesn't ever run out. Life is not a bed of roses, and parenting in particular is often a roller coaster ride of highs and lows, blind corners and surprises. So whether you're a new parent or an older one, whether you're an extrovert or introvert, a stay-home parent working full-time, parenting fast-tracks us to some of life's hardest realities, including we don't really have control. And it's hard to become an expert. Things that we love in our busy, performance-oriented societies. It is hard to have control. Things often don't go according to what we plan. Why is my baby still crying when I've done everything that the parenting side told me to do? Why is my teenager so sullen and unappreciative towards me? I've given him a solid, comfortable life. And when you think you've mastered your parenting, your child will grow into the next season and next phase, and there will be more things to learn and more things to catch up on. Control and perfection are illusions. The most common thing we hear parents say is how tired we all are. You think you are tired when you have a newborn. Just wait till he starts to talk and walk. And then they go to school. And there's so much information, all these letters they bring back from school, a lot. Together with all these, there is also your own dreams and your hopes for yourself, your child. And then comes the teen years. Now it's not just teen, it's also tween and it's adolescent. And I was just counting recently, it's one whole decade of outbursts, tantrums, anger, slamming of doors, disagreements, and more. Add to this whole mix mom guilt, dad guilt, the comparison trap, the fear of missing out, and other things going on in our lives like our career, our other relationships that are important to us, our expectations of life. I say parenting is not for the faint of heart, but we do get faint-hearted as we parent. Our battery can get depleted really fast. And when that happens, we can start to give away, bit by bit, what we have hoped and believed in and what we are willing to work for. Our family life can begin to settle for something that's so far less than what we envisioned. We can become functional and communicate at the surface level only, and we bury unresolved issues. As a result, we walk around carrying a big hole in our heart because we are just too tired. That is why self-care is so important for us. You don't need to live with a big hole in your heart. You can find the resources to be the parent you believe is best, the parent you deeply want to be. It starts not by comparing yourself with others, but by being yourself. When my children were younger, as a writer, I spent hours reading and writing out my thoughts and my feelings to keep clarifying what is important to me and what I want. And after a while, I began to offer some of these writings on my blog. And I would title all these pieces, "You are the best parents for your children." Because some days we think that someone else can do a better job than us. Some days we want someone else to do the job, But friends, no one else can do it better than you. As long as you are a healthy, functional adult, you are the best person to parent your child. As parents, we have at least one, if not two bonds with our child. First, there is the bond of biology. Second, there is the bond of commitment. And these are very strong bonds that are not easily broken. These bonds also mean that your children thrive as you thrive. There may be exceptions to the rule, but this holds true. To the degree that you are healthy emotionally, physically, and spiritually, your children will benefit from the family atmosphere you create and the example that you set. You know what they say? Kids don't do what we say, they do what we do. So your children thrive as you thrive. There is a popular illustration for self-care. I'm sure you know about. It's called the oxygen mask. And they describe how when an airplane is going down, you should reach for the mask and apply it to yourself first, then apply it to your child. I don't really like that because that situation describes an emergency. It's about surviving a threat. The oxygen mask basically serves to give you a few minutes of oxygen while the airplane pilot is trying to bring the plane down to a lower altitude. I don't want you to live in a state of emergency or to merely survive. I want you to enjoy your parenting journey and reap the fruits of all you are seeking to sow into your children and your family. So then, what is self-care? Self-care is taking steps to protect your vision for life. The kind of person that you want to be and the quality of relationships that you want to have. So your vision of life includes the kind of person you want to be and the quality of relationships you want to have, especially with those closest to you. Your ambitions, career, and all that are important, but studies have shown two things. Nobody at the end of their life wish they worked harder, and everything boils down to relationships. Now, you can find a ton of practical tips about self-care, and they are typically grouped under physical, social, emotional, mental, and spiritual. But today, I'm going to distill all of that down and share with you 3 self-care practices which are very easy to do and which you can personalize to fit your routines and your lifestyles. And these 3 practices are not just simple, they are also interrelated. And they're so easy to implement, they will help you to thrive as you grow into the person you want to be. It will impact the quality of your relationships as you do them regularly. Are you ready? The first practice is gratitude. Yes, be grateful for the times when you display the traits you want. The time when you chose to hold your tongue and not push or nag. Give thanks. That's wisdom. Or the time when you were so tired, yet you sat with your child to complete a piece of work or listen to their story. That is compassion. Or when you wrote that letter to the teacher and you chose kind words to state your concern, but also be supportive of the teacher. That is constructive. Each day you will no doubt be a bit of the person you want to be and can be. At lunch break or at bedtime or tea time, take a moment to give thanks for yourself. You can even keep a gratitude journal on your phone or in a notebook somewhere near you. You see, we typically give thanks for things that happen, like a helpful colleague or the child getting a good grade, and that's great. But what I'm suggesting is that we learn to give thanks for our own selves, for our own efforts, and for our growth. That is different, isn't it? Because we tend to be very hard on ourselves. So being grateful for the small steps we take, for the ways that we are growing, is very important in self-care. It's like a mini celebration of your life, and it will help you to be more positive and hopeful. So gratitude is our first self-care practice. The second practice is the slow, deep breath. Yeah, so simple, but so powerful. You have probably heard the advice to count to 10 when you are angry. I prefer to notice what I call the pre-anger state, when I sense my irritation and frustration or tiredness building up. The slow deep breath will physiologically center you. It increases your oxygen intake and it helps you to slow down and get clearer. So when you feel an agitation building up, when there's too much information to process, you are feeling worried about something, pull back and take a slow deep breath. Inhale the gift of life and exhale the stresses of life. The wonderful thing about the slow deep breath is that it's so easy to do. You can combine it with your exercise. You can do it while you're trying to feed that fussy toddler, or you can combine it with your gratitude practice. As you breathe in, you can give thanks. As you breathe out, you can release the tension that you're feeling. In fact, let's try it right now. Okay? The slow deep breath involves you breathing in through your nose and filling your lungs with all this good free air that we all have and share. So take a deep breath in and fill the lungs until all the tiny air sacs are inflated with air. Feel the body and all your muscles stretching, the back straightening out. And when it's all very full, you just let it out very gently through your mouth. Don't push the air, okay? Just like this. You can do this, and every time you breathe in, you can give thanks. And then when you breathe out, you can say, I release that worry, or I let go of this situation. So gratitude and the slow, deep breath. And finally, the life-giving way. Yes, the life-giving way. Every single one of us is unique and experiences joy and liveliness quite differently. You may need nature, or a quiet, soothing space. Some of us like scents, yeah? Or creative activity, or a good long hug, or warm conversations with friends. Now, I want you to take a moment and think quickly of 2 things that make you feel alive, that lifts your mood and makes you smile. Just 2 things. Got it? Practice 3 is the life-giving way, incorporated into your daily routines. If you answer my question just now about the 2 things, and your answer was take an exotic vacation or something extensive like that, okay, you need to think outside the box, because parenting involves our presence. So your life-giving way has to happen while you are parenting. Allow me to share a few of mine. When my firstborn was breastfeeding, I decided to make that a life-giving way, even in the wee hours of the morning. I mean, I have to do it anyway, and if I'm grumpy and fussy, she will probably be more grumpy and fussy as well. So I decided to just accept that that's what has to happen, to enjoy the bonding and to dwell on the fact that, wow, I am giving life to my child. What an immense miracle. So I learned to enjoy it and to relish it and not to rush it. And right now, breastfeeding remains a beautiful memory for me. As they grew, I would have pockets of time when I would slow down to have fun with my child. I realized that when I stopped multitasking and paid attention, even if that moment meant just playing with soap bubbles or rolling toy cars on the ground, I felt actually more alive. And at least once a month, I would arrange for childcare so that I could go into nature to decompress, or go to a cafe to chill and journal, or meet up with some friends. Some of you may find joining a mom's group very helpful, or certain other interest groups. Parenting has many seasons. During infancy, it's natural to feel more stuck at home, as it were. But don't be in a hurry. That season is actually very brief. Soon you can take your children away along with you, anywhere you do, and get them to do something while you enjoy your life-giving way. Now, I do need to ask you to think about this seriously. See, because when we were swinging singles, perhaps parties and spas and vacations were our thing. Well, at different stages of our lives, we may discover other life-giving ways. So it's very important to also learn to be flexible, to be open, because life is always inviting us to grow. One of the most powerful lessons that transformed me and really helped me to enjoy my parenting is this truth that my children grow me as a person. Our children grow us. Just as you cannot get married and remain the same person, you cannot become a parent and stay the same. Life, like I say, is inviting you to grow. I still remember the time when my son was about 6. I took him to this huge machine and robots event. I was lost there because tech is not my thing. I do kind of enjoy exploring new experiences, but I wasn't even sure what I was doing there. I wasn't sure what to take him to. We fumbled around and we found ourselves in this tent, and there was this incredible machine gladiatorial race going on where the machines are like fighting each other. It was so strange. All these machines had flown in from the UK and they were having this competition. I didn't even know such a thing existed. We had such a good time. And to this day, this is one of our best memories for my son and me. And it doesn't have to be big or fancy. With my daughter, who's my firstborn, we did a lot of small things around the house. Every day we would water the one plant we have. We just do it very slowly. And sometimes I would put her on the couch with me and we would just read together. She didn't really know how to read, so she was pretending and I was reading, and it was just 10 minutes, but it was so good. A life-giving way breathes life into us. Remember, we are not reaching for an oxygen mask. We are seeking to thrive. So a life-giving way cannot be something that you are grasping or grabbing. It must be something that you can plan, or something that you allow to happen naturally in the course of your day. Like just taking a pause, walking to the window, looking up to the sky, taking a slow deep breath, giving thanks. You see what I did there? I combined the practices, didn't I? The life-giving way, the slow deep breath, and the gratitude. A life-giving way is simply a small thing that you can do each day, and maybe something that you plan once a week or so. It just must make you appreciate life and feel alive. I began with this, but I think it's better, since we are living beings, to end with this. Each time you see a plant or think of one, take a cue from them. They are grounded, they are hydrated so they thrive, and they soak in the light. Your deep breaths will ground you to the gift of life. And as you give thanks, it hydrates your soul and keeps you tender. When you incorporate life-giving ways into your routines, it lights you up. You may not have green fingers, so go find your favorite picture of a plant, print it out, frame it up, and put it somewhere to remind you. Dear fellow parents, you are so important to your children and you are so valuable. Cherish yourself and allow your parenting journey to be one that grows you and helps you to thrive. And your children will thrive too. I have written a small book with 52 practical tips to help you raise happy kids, called Simple Tips for Happy Kids. And they will work for your children whether they are 2 or 20, because these tips are based on evidence-based research that all children need 5 foundational things to become well-adjusted, resilient beings. So do check the book out. Let your parenting journey, even though it has challenges, be and has no retirement, be one that you embrace and enjoy, and one that grows you and helps you to thrive. Use the 3 simple practices I've taught you: gratitude, the slow deep breath, and instilling life-giving ways into your daily routines. Now that my children have grown, I am digging deeper into my vision for life, and I've just begun a small community called To Really Live. You can check that out as well. It's at www.toreally.live. Now let's end with a simple exercise. I'd like you to sit in a really relaxed manner. Okay? Think of something about yourself that you are grateful for. Like, I'm grateful I made it to this ParentED festival. Okay? And then take a few slow deep breaths with that. Let's do that right now. One last slow deep breath and give thanks. Thank you and take care.